Hello, hello. So I am hopping on a little later than I said I would, but I am here. And so let's get started. All right, so we are going to be diving into why you might be experiencing or finding that you are not meeting men that you are truly interested in. Some of the reasons for that, like what might be going on for you. So, if you don't know me, I am Elizabeth. I am a dating coach for smart, high achieving women who are ready to meet their forever man, their partner, the future husband or father of their children. They are ready to end their patterns with men, to end the struggle that they've been experiencing with dating and relationships, and attract and choose the truly right man for them, a man who is ready for commitment, who wants what they want, who's a really good match for them, so they can build lasting love with that right man. So I want to just get started. So, women who want to find their right relationship sometimes come to me saying that they are struggling to find any men that they're really interested in. And maybe that's you. If it is, you want to watch this whole video. So, in my experience working with one on one clients and speaking to hundreds of women in this predicament who have said this thing to me, it's pretty much never the case that this is actually a fact, that there are no men at all anywhere that she's interested in. And often they get this feeling like maybe the men that they're attracted to like aren't up to the caliber that they want, aren't at their level. And so in my experience and in what I have seen with so many women that I work with and so many women that I have spoken to, is that there's always some reason that this is their experience up to this point. And it's always some reason that is actually within their control. It's like not that they're just like out of luck, these men just don't exist. So today I want to dive into the most common reasons behind why this may have been a woman who's experiencing this, maybe you's experience with dating so far and with like trying to find that man. So, the first reason could be that she has a belief that the men that she'll be interested in like aren't out there, that there just aren't men out there like that, or they're extremely rare. So, one reason that even though we have everything going for us, like our whole lives are on track, like it's like I seem like picture perfect, right? But like, where are these men? I'm not finding them. You're not meeting high quality men who are up to what you're looking for regularly, is actually because you have this belief that they just aren't out there, they're really rare, they're hard to find, and so you've actually primed your brain to not be looking for them. You've actually primed your brain in the opposite direction. So when you are believing that these men just don't exist and are super hard to find, you basically create a self-fulfilling prophecy, because our brains are designed to filter out irrelevant information so that we don't get information overload. So the way that they do that, and the way that our brains know what to focus on, is through the thoughts and beliefs that we're feeding them daily and constantly. So we teach our brains this thing is true, this thing matters, and this thing doesn't. And so our brains look for evidence of that. It's like, okay, like let me help you filter out what's irrelevant. So if we're telling ourselves and believing that they just aren't out there, they're really hard to find, guess what? We always find exactly what we're expecting to find. So that's the first very common reason. And that might be one part of a whole puzzle. So let's go into the next reason. So number two, it could be that she isn't putting herself out there and meeting new people regularly. Like, I wonder how many men is she actually meeting? So I know that this won't come as a surprise, but he's not magically going to appear in our living rooms, right? Like, we have to be putting ourselves in places where these men are. We have to go where the kind of men that we want to meet are. So, are you putting yourself in places where the kinds of men that you want to meet actually go and actually are? If you're wanting to make new connections, like to meet your future partner, then you need to be getting outside of your house and meeting people, making new connections regularly. And I know during COVID that was hard, so we're going to talk about other ways that you can do that actually from your house. But you want to, like, are you doing things that are fun and interesting and making new friends and making new connections? Be a person who's got interesting things going on, is really living a full life. You could, number one, meet him while you're doing those things, which is what happened for me, or you could meet someone new who will actually be the person to connect you to your future husband or partner. And even if you don't, being in that energy makes you so much more radiant and magnetic. If movement is not happening in your life, you're not attracting, you're not being very magnetic. And you know what? No matter what happens, you don't lose because you're having fun. You're doing things that you are enjoying. So, number 3 reason why this might be the case, that she is not meeting men she's interested in. So, she may be approaching dating with a 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of mentality. So, essentially, she's not really giving it her all. And what this often looks like is you make an effort to meet someone maybe once every month or two when you feel like you want to try, and then otherwise you're not actively doing anything to meet new men. You give it a go once a month, it doesn't work out with whoever you were talking to, and you decide you need another break. Or you focus on your career or something else going on in your life as an excuse for why you can't go all in and meet men consistently and regularly. So the universal principle here is that half-hearted attempts result in half-hearted results, right? So if you want to meet your partner, it needs to be made an actual priority and treated like that. So you need to be consistently putting yourself out there and doing the actual actions you need to be taking. And if there's resistance to going all in, then it's a good place to just look at and ask what's there and why. There might be some inner work to do around that. So number 4 is that she's not using all the avenues to meet someone that are available to her. And this really ties into, like, if you can't easily and regularly go out and meet people, like for example, COVID and lockdown, where are you going to be meeting this men? These men are somewhere, right? So this may look like maybe you are occasionally going out and meeting people again, but probably not in all the avenues you could. And probably you are not on the dating apps. This is a really big one. Pretty much every quality man, and literally just like a single man, right, who is actively looking for a relationship is going to be online. He might be trying to meet people in person, and he's probably also online. For a man who is busy with work and life, who's got things going on, which is the kind of man you're looking for, right? Online dating actually makes the most sense. Because it's actually faster and easier and a more efficient way to meet someone. He's busy, he doesn't have the time to go out and do tons of things to maybe happen to meet someone if he's lucky, which, could take years. He's increasing his odds by dating online. And I really recommend that you do that too, because I bet he's on there, right? He might be out going places in person and he's probably also online. So you could meet him faster that way, right? And he may not be going out. He might be really busy with his life. He's not actively trying to meet someone off of online. That's pretty common. So you'll know that just like how you're using all the avenues available to you, you're not using them, it's an issue. If we just look at our dating profiles, right? Your dating profile really isn't that great. You kind of just put it together. It's a half-hearted effort. You don't really know what you're doing with online dating. It's kind of like a let's just see what happens kind of approach versus really understanding how to create a really strong profile and then doing that, understanding the psychology of online dating and specifically the psychology of men and what they're looking for and how they're interacting with it. And you're half-heartedly using it. You're not really forming real connections and getting off the apps, and maybe you just don't really understand how to do it correctly or just in a way that would be more effective. Or maybe you're just not even using it at all. And I know that a lot of women have a lot of thoughts about online dating, have a lot of resistance to it. But honestly, it is literally the best tool ever. Like, it's amazing for finding the right match and finding him quickly with the least amount of effort. Like, truly. It's actually so much easier to find someone this way than through an organic means, because you just never know when you're going to meet that person. The men you're meeting, like, might not be that many anyways in an in-person setting versus like literally so many options online. So trying to meet a single guy who's ready for a committed relationship, who's actually the kind of guy that you're looking for, can be really challenging offline. And so, I mean, you should be trying to meet him through every avenue. Looking organically is great too, but just don't cut off one of the best tools that exists for meeting men because it maybe hasn't worked great for you yet. I'm guaranteeing you that there's something off about how you're approaching it, because there's always a reason it hasn't been working well. It works well for so many people. It has worked well for so many of my clients when we actually did the work to work on how she was doing it, right? And I support my clients through the process of online dating, from making your profile a killer profile for the right guy for you, choosing men on the apps, communicating with men on the apps, in the least time consuming, most effective way, getting off the apps and into person as quickly as possible. I literally teach my clients every aspect of this, and most of my clients have met their partners through online dating. It works. All right, so our next one. And I forget if I'm on number 3 or 4. I'm number 5. Okay. So next one is that she is not signaling to men that she is open and available for them to approach her. So therefore, men aren't. So she isn't getting the chance to meet the men who she could be interested in. And we're talking about like organically meeting men, right? So most women who complain that they are never approached by men or by men they could be interested in don't realize that they aren't sending the right nonverbal signals to men to let them know, hey, it's safe to approach me. I'd actually like to talk to you. Men are afraid that they might be raked over the coals by an angry woman accused of harassing her if they come up and like try to talk to her. So they need to know that you like them and want them to approach you. What you're signaling energetically, non-verbally, is either inviting men into your space or telling them to like stay the hell away. So you really need to learn what really is like the subtle art of flirting, which is something that I teach my clients. So literally knowing how to do this, how to signal to men that I'm open to being approached, open to being asked out, has gotten me asked on so many dates, including my first date with my fiance, because we actually met at a dance workshop. If I just kept my head down and hadn't been open and signaling that I was open, he would never have asked me out. All right, so number 6, sometimes it's a self-protection mechanism. Like when we say, there are no men that I'm interested in, these men are really rare. Sometimes that's actually like some subtle self-protection going on. Like underneath, there's maybe a fear that men won't actually choose me. There might be something else going on with holding on to that belief. And so this might be the result of not getting support to work on that inner stuff that might be going on. Maybe some inner fear going on, some inner self-worth going on. So this can look like, I would say, could look like old wounds, unprocessed traumas, limiting beliefs, stories, false perceptions of ourselves or of men or of how things work. Could be triggers and just things in our blind spots. So, if you've got insecurities, issues with self-confidence, self-worth, fears about intimacy, trust, or getting close to someone, if you've got issues with boundaries, saying no, and needs, if you've got just unhealed attachment stuff, abandonment fears, and when you're triggered, you can become very avoidant or very anxious, or you've settled, or you've chased, or you overworked for love in the past. Like there's stuff probably going on here. And so if dating hasn't worked out for you or hasn't worked out the way you wanted to, basically there's probably something going on inside that is manifesting as issues with finding and keeping the relationship that you want. And it may be a block in you taking the actions. So it's important, and I really can't stress this enough, it's so important to get help to turn that around and to be in this space of a mentor who can hold up a mirror for you, help you see yourself and your situation clearly and do that inner work. Really be supported through that. And this is really actually one of the first things to address before you're going to address anything else like strategy, dating apps, dating, because what we don't heal gets mirrored back to us and the men who we pick and the situations that we are creating or getting ourselves into. All right, so number 7. And this is really tied to this number 6, is that you may have, or she may have, unexplored intimacy fears. So you might be like, wait, what, really? But this is actually one of the most common things that I see. And it was something that I had and didn't like fully understand was a thing that was going on for me. So you probably like love the idea of love. You love the idea of finding your life partner or your soulmate. And then in reality, you may be more in love with just the chase and the uncertainty than the solidity of like love itself. This can also be one of those things, because when a really nice, really kind, stable guy comes along and it actually has a chance that it could work out, like he could be serious about you, you're not interested in him. And just like raise your hand if that's been you, because that has totally been me in the past with so many men. So this is actually usually a manifestation of an intimacy fear, because when push comes to shove, you actually would push love away. So the other way you can know if this is the case for you, if you've got some of those fears, is if unavailable men who aren't consistent with you, men who keep distance from you and like you not fully opening up to you, right? Unavailable, emotionally unavailable, they feel safer because you're actually getting exactly how much intimacy you can handle. That is why you are actually attracted to those men. What this means is that there are deeper intimacy fears going on here. So chances are that there is a part of you that is actually afraid of intimacy, and that is something to really explore and do the deep inner work around, get support around that. All right, so number 8. She is not getting real with herself that this is her number one priority. And that could be because of intimacy fears or other inner blocks. That could just be because she hasn't sat down and really been honest with herself and like realized this is important. Sometimes it's because we're afraid that we won't actually get what we want. What we want won't actually happen. So we can tell ourselves that, oh, it's only nice to have, or it would be nice, but I'm totally fine being on my own. I'm totally fine being single. It's okay if it doesn't happen. And we undermine getting it by not fully committing to it, that I want to find my partner, that this is a priority. And so likely there's something else going on with why you haven't sat down and made it our priority. So you want to look at that and see what might be under that, because maybe if you actually looked, like it actually would be a priority. So this can sometimes then be kind of a protective mechanism, like if I didn't truly give it my all, then I didn't actually fail, and maybe I'm afraid that I would maybe fail, like that maybe I'm just unworthy, unlovable, it won't happen for me. And so, of course, we then don't want to go 100% in because we wouldn't want that to happen, right? But then it's almost like this self-defeating pattern, because without the 100% commitment, you can't make it happen, right? So if there's internal resistance, you want to look at that. And I recommend, if you're serious about truly attracting the best match possible, go get support. Don't do this blindly. This is what coaches are for. You would go to a specialist for almost anything else. We go to doctors and specialist doctors for different aspects of our health. We go to school and spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars to prepare for our careers. We hire a health coach for our health. Yet, finding a partner is the most important decision that we will ever make. The ripple effect of the person that you choose as your partner is huge on the rest of your life, and not just your life, but your children and their children, and it goes on, right? So it's a choice that impacts your career, your health, the trajectory of your life, your happiness day to day, more than anything else, more than any other decision that you will make. And not to put pressure on you, I just feel that sometimes we think that, not to make you feel pressured, oh my God, it's such a big decision, but I feel that sometimes we think that love should just happen and we shouldn't need an education on it. We shouldn't need guidance through it. We shouldn't need to get help. And I just think that that's like the craziest thing about our culture and our schools. We should be learning these things. We should be taught these things, because there is so much that we don't know. When I started to really dive into this, it started over 10 years ago, I realized like none of this is taught anywhere. There's no place that it's in a curriculum somewhere. We have to go seek it out. But, love, building a relationship, finding love is actually not natural. Like most of us grew up And I'm talking about finding healthy love, like a really good relationship. Most of us grew up with very unhealthy models and often unhappy models of what love and relationships are like. And, most women really don't understand men. I definitely didn't. I learned some from my mom, and I learned a lot. We don't understand how to have a really good relationship with a man. And then, even if our families were amazing and wonderful, and our parents had positive relationships, stuff happens. We carry trauma, right? We carry inner wounds that we don't realize how they are impacting how we are dating and choosing and trying to find the right person. There's just so much to this. So I just wanted to put that out there as just an offer, a thought about this. So I hope that this just gave you some insight into what might be going on for you. And if you're ready to end your struggle, stop struggling with dating, relationships, and men, and you're ready to finally find the right man for you, you want dating to feel like this much more easeful process, you want it to be smooth, and you want that really beautiful relationship, then I want you to know that I can help you with that. I help clients with every single one of the points that I mentioned above and more, the whole process to finding your partner and getting into that relationship. So my one-on-one coaching program is designed to help you speed up your process to finding your dream relationship and to really be ready for a happy, lasting relationship and choose the right man for that. So for many of my clients, they have met who became their future partner in as little as 3 months. So within 5 months for a lot of clients, they were in a committed relationship. And this happens so often for the clients who come when they're truly like, this is my number one priority. I really want to find this person. They're willing to put in the work, both the external steps and as well as the internal work. So my coaching packages are currently either for 3 or 6 months of weekly one-on-one calls, and you have basically a program designed to fit you. So to help you prepare for and attract the dream love that you want, not just with an available man, but a high quality man who checks all your boxes, who is right for you, who commits to you and chooses you. So you're going to do the work to rewire your own love blueprint, remove any inner blocks or things that are going on to attracting him, doing the inner healing work, clearing out your limiting beliefs, and then attract him in. So you also get the practical support for the things that come up with men, like setting up a magnetic dating profile, dealing with communication with men on the apps, in text, how he's in person, understanding how he's approaching dating, how to know where he's at in his readiness for commitment, how to build emotional connection with a man that makes the right man for you see you as the one so much quicker, handling those early stages of dating, those make or break moments, identifying red and green flags, list goes on, like literally anything that comes up. So you can expect to be pursued by 1 to 3 men every month who are meeting your most important criteria, learn how to filter out the wrong ones quickly so that you can go from single, wherever you are right now, into a happy, healthy, loving, committed relationship as quickly as you're ready for, as quickly as possible. So if you're interested, send me a DM to get the link to schedule a consultation call, and we'll chat about where you're at and make sure that you are a fit. So I am going to sign off now. Bye.